It's the late 1970s, and high school cheerleader Donna Smouse has just graduated.
I think she would have been seen as a pleasant, all-American girl.
We all came from basically middle-class families, good Christian families, went to school during the week, went to church on Sunday, never really got into any trouble.
In fact, Donna spends most of her time hanging out with her parents. She's especially close to her father, Ross.
I know she wanted to please her mother, and I know she very much wanted to please her father.
She was never a mean individual. She was never one that would gossip about other people. She always, was just always available for her friends whenever they needed something.
She always kind of walked on her toes. That's why I think of bouncy and bubbly. She was just always up and positive.
After high school, Donna swaps her pom-poms for work as a secretary and starts a romance that sets the tongues wagging in small-town Hermitage, Pennsylvania.
She met Ghulam the year after we graduated from high school, and they started dating then. He was the first, serious commitment that she had.
Even from the time that they started dating, people like to talk about the young girl, the young blonde girl that was involved with the older doctor, and it was good gossip.
The couple meets in 1978, the year Donna turns 19. Dr. Ghulam Munda is already in his 40s. Ghulam has a successful urology practice in the same medical building where Donna works. He was born in Gujarat, India, but he left his family behind to study in the States.
People used to ask, which part of Gujarat are you from? And he used to say, I'm from the same place where Mahatma Gandhi was. He was very proud of that.
When I think about Ghulam and Ghulam's personality, in some ways I can kind of describe him the same way as I described Donna. He was bouncy, he was bubbly, he was outgoing, very charismatic.
Like to make friends and talk to everybody, even people at the hospital, people, janitors, housekeeping, anybody.
He was very kind of flirty, flirtatious personality, goofing around.
The ultimate doctor. He was kind and compassionate.
The couple's age difference is hard to ignore.
A lot of folks said that she was a daddy's girl. And a lot of people said those two things went hand in hand, being a daddy's girl and looking for older men.
She was very hesitant on developing the relationship initially because of the fact that there was such a big age difference.
But the charming doctor doesn't give up easily.
He bought her a DeLorean, and at the time it was a $17,000 car, which was a very expensive car.
We were all just from your basic all-American middle-class family, and all of a sudden one of us in our group is dating someone that's dropping cars off in their driveway, so that was, it was surprising.
And I remember it was a very long conversation about the pros and cons of keeping the car, but she had decided that she was going to ask him to return the car.
Donna doesn't just catch the eye of the charismatic doctor, she also attracts the notice of local busybodies.
They build a stereotypic image of young gold digger, looking to make good for herself, even to the point where they would call her parents' house, or they would call Donna herself, and they would make comments as to, how can you let your daughter date someone that's 20 years older than her? And is your daughter a gold digger? What's she out to get?
If it bothers her family, Donna doesn't let on.
I'm sure that was very troubling to them, but they knew Donna and respected the fact that Donna was making a wise decision. And in Donna's mind, it was probably more troubling to Donna that it troubled her parents than it was troubling to her.
Psychotherapist Stacy Kaiser and forensic psychologist Brian Russell see Donna's desire to be taken care of as a key part of this budding romance.
There was a lot of gossip among other people about their relationship, and this could either have a negative or positive effect on the relationship. Negatively, it could make them question one another and start to listen to what other people said. On a positive side, it could actually pull them together. They could literally bond and connect over the fact that everyone's against them, but they're a team.
you can have a knee-jerk reaction wherein both people say, no, that's not true, no, there's more to our relationship, and it actually might have caused them not to really do as much introspecting and really critically thinking about, is there any truth to what people are saying? Why are people gossiping about us this way? Is there anything about our relationship that maybe is a little bit superficial?
Ghulam's efforts to woo Donna pay off. Most friends believe they're a good match.
She was much younger than him, but he didn't seem to mind and she didn't seem to mind.
They were just always goofing around, joking with each other, laughing. That was the only thing I ever witnessed between the two of them.
Good. Used to go to the bars at night. She used to sing in his ear, and when the music is fairly loud in the bars when they're dancing, and she used to sing loud in his ear.
Donna's family embraces Ghulam, especially her parents, Dorothy and Ross.
We take out the entire family to dinner, trips, presents, parties all the time too. Very, very generous, very kind to them. They genuinely liked him. They thought he was very good for Donna as well.
He did whatever he could to be part of that family and make them, actually spoil them too.
Donna's not in a rush to marry because she wants to finish college. But some of Ghulam's more religious friends do not approve of the couple's casual Western style of dating.
I used to tell him, you should maybe get married. You can't just continue to live a life like that.
After more than 12 years, Ghulam buckles under cultural pressure. The couple marries in December 1990. Donna is 31, Ghulam 55.
She had asked me to be one of her bridesmaids, which thrilled me. But what became even more exciting was the fact that I realized that they were going to do both ceremonies. They were going to do an Indian ceremony as well as a Christian ceremony, which to me showed great respect on both of their parts for each one of their religious backgrounds. It was beautiful. They were happy. They were excited.
They seem very much in love, like almost any couple you see.
Ghulam does his best to keep Donna happy by showering her with gifts.
Ghulam loved being wealthy. He loved America. The thing he loved about America was the fact that he had a great life and he had a lot of money because of what he was able to do as a doctor.
When he came here, he was by himself. Young person coming from overseas, and all of a sudden you see a different world, like a kid in a candy store.
He enjoyed being able to go out to dinner and buy very expensive meals. He enjoyed that, being able to travel with his money. He worked very hard and he enjoyed being able to spend his money.
I think in some ways Ghulam is a sugar daddy. He sort of meets the profile for it. He has a lot of money and he's willing to pretty much buy her whatever it is that she wants.
She also seems to me like someone who didn't really want to fit the profile at the beginning of being the kind of woman that would respond to a sugar daddy, because she did reject some of the gifts and she didn't seem to want to be talked about as that, but over time became comfortable with the lifestyle that he was able to provide. I think probably because she did convince herself that that wasn't her only reason for wanting to be with him. She, in other words, probably convinced herself that she did have enough feelings for him, that that was just perks of being with him.
Donna makes her own money, but Ghulam's thriving private urology practice is really what pays the bills. Most people agree Donna is happy to let Ghulam take the lead.
He would come home at a certain time, he would require certain things. They had rituals and things that they followed in their daily life, and I think that, what she needed to do for herself came secondary.
People said that Donna needed someone to guide her, someone to control her and make a lot of decisions for her.
He was dominant. He did whatever he wanted. but we don't know what happened inside the house,
Then there are the whispers that Ghulam's not entirely faithful.
A lot of people thought that maybe he had a girlfriend on the side as well.
I assumed that a lot of people took his flirting to mean that he was not faithful.
If you were living in a situation where you were constantly being bombarded by rumors and stories of womanizing on your husband's part, that would be a gradual chipping away at you if you allowed it to be. And those rumors were there all along the way.
People also gossip about why the couple never have any children. None of their friends has a definitive answer.
So they set off in the car, and Dr. Munda was driving his Jaguar with Donna Munda in the passenger seat and Donna's mother in the back seat. They stopped in Ohio, I think, for a bottle of water at a convenience store. And at that time, Donna said that her husband may have flashed a quantity of cash.
After about an hour, they stop again to change drivers at an emergency pullout.
So they pulled over, she got out of the car, and they began to exchange seats, but a car pulled up right behind them and stopped.
And this guy came out, and he was wearing a hoodie, and he came up to the passenger side door and wanted him to hand over his wallet.
And after the doctor gave it up, the thief shot him in the head.
Oh, Ghulam! Oh my God! Ghulam! Oh my God! Oh my God! Ghulam, help! Somebody help us! Please, somebody! Oh, please, please! Help, please, anybody! Please help! There's been a murder! Help! Oh my God!
So the nephew was driving by, also on his way, to show the new home to his uncle.
He was driving from Pittsburgh to Toledo, and he was about 10 minutes behind them on the turnpike.
Recognized his uncle's car and stopped at the crime scene, got out to see what was happening, discovered his uncle in the back of an ambulance being treated, and Donna Munda having hysterics by the side of the road.
But it's too late. Ghulam is dead.
I was at a high school baseball game, and a doctor, his son was on the team, came to the game and had told us what he had heard, and it was devastating.
I can remember distinctly, I had just left my house. I had gone down the road to a greenhouse, had bought a bunch of plants, was pulling back in my driveway, and my sister-in-law called me, and she said, "You better sit down."
It was such a shock, and it cannot really describe it even.
The Ohio State Highway Patrol leads the investigation. They find a shell casing to a 9mm handgun, but have no decent eyewitnesses. Dorothy and Donna are too shaken to describe the shooter or his vehicle.
There were a number, I want to say probably 3, 4, 5 reports of eyewitnesses who claimed to have seen either the attack or the aftermath, and there were a number of different descriptions of the vehicle, of the assailant.
The funeral is just days later.
Monday, we had a Muslim funeral for him.
Donna was, just sitting there and crying and, inconsolable. So she would not even sit in a chair next to the casket. She was sitting on the floor, put her head on the casket.
She was trembling so badly she could hardly stand up. I mean, her whole body was just shaking and trembling. And she only said 2 words to me, and the only thing she said was just, "Oh, Kim." And that was all she said. So we just hugged and held each other.
And I remember saying to her, "What are you going to do? He was your whole life." And she just cried. She just absolutely cried. And she just looked at me and said, "I know."
The last words that my husband...
Donna makes a televised plea for witnesses to come forward.
Give me my wallet.
I believe it was a Sunday where I saw Donna Munda on a local TV station being interviewed about the slaying.
And the look on his face was sheer terror.
She was begging for information.
6 days after the shooting, there's a shocking revelation.
We were sitting in our house and the news flash came that a person of interest has been identified. Damien, he was the person of interest.
Charlene McFrazier, Damien's fiancée, comes forward. She tells police that Damien and Donna are having an affair. Where Ghulam was 24 years older than Donna, Damien is 22 years younger.
One of the major turning points was that Charlene actually admitted to investigators that Donna and Damien had been dating. And that seemed to break a lot of it loose. And also, I believe 1 or 2 other people had gone anonymously to the police and said, look, she has a boyfriend. Here's who he is. You need to take a look at him.
In Damien's apartment, investigators find plenty of evidence to connect Damien Bradford to Donna Munda.
There were anabolic steroids found in his apartment. Those were provided to him by Donna Munda. They found some towels that had blood on them from when Donna and him had sexual relations.
They also find 19 $50 bills that they suspect came from Ghulam's stolen wallet.
They knew pretty quickly that they had probably zeroed in on their best lead in the entire case.
Donna maintains she didn't recognize the shooter, so police don't have enough to put Damien away. Then Charlene gives him an alibi.
I think Charlene wanted to protect Damien. She did tell investigators there's no way that he could have killed Dr. Munda because he was with her at the time.
The tawdry story is all over the news.
As I was watching this unfold on TV, my jaw was on the ground because I had no idea about the drug addiction. I had no idea about the rehab. I had no idea about her meeting Damien until that started to come out.
Well, we were honestly very indignant and also hurt. We treated her like as our own. One of my kids, when she heard it, he said, "Oh my God, I feel dirty."
Weeks after Ghulam's death, police still don't have enough evidence to charge Damien, but he's thrown in jail on drug charges. Authorities listen in on Donna and Damien's conversations, hoping to record some kind of confession, but all they get are proclamations of love. Finally, a year after Ghulam's death, police get the break they've been waiting for through Damien's cell phone records.
As time wore on, that alibi fell apart as investigators kept digging, and they knew pretty quickly that Damien probably was out on the road the day of the murder.
Tower tracking of their cell phones puts them in different states the night Donna Munda was murdered. Charlene was in western Pennsylvania, and Damien was on the Ohio Turnpike, the very place where Ghulam was murdered. He is now the prime suspect, and if convicted, he faces a life sentence or the death penalty. Damien tells the court how Donna became his sugar mama.
They met each other at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. I believe she pursued him, she introduced herself, and shortly thereafter they began to have a relationship. They were involved in a very sexual relationship. She began to pay his rent and his car, and she was probably giving him in excess of $7,000, $8,000 a month in gifts and cash. Damien comes from a place where money was hard to come by. He was impressed by it, as a lot of people who don't have money are, and then he just went from there.
Damien says Donna's marriage took a turn for the worse after Charlene's phone call. Ghulam begged Donna for a divorce and even offered her money.
It continued to deteriorate to the point where Donna says that Dr. Munda offered to divorce her. offered her $1 million settlement, and that would be it. Marriage would be over.
But Damien claims Donna refused and told him she wanted her husband's estate and life insurance policies.
Donna wanted as much money as possible, and she convinced Damien that they could be together, that she would share this money with him. He would be living on Easy Street for the rest of his life.
Damien testifies Donna was already plotting to kill her husband.
She used Damien to do what she wanted through sex, drugs, and money.
Damien says he'd made a previous attempt on the doctor's life at the mosque. He says Donna asked him to shoot Iftikhar Chattah if he got in the way.
He's watching the doctor leave the mosque. Damien was going to kill him there. And then Damien's conscience kicked in, and he left.
It was a close call, and actually it was thanks to Damien that he spared us.
On Friday, the 13th of May, Donna texted Damien when it was time to go, and he trailed them to the emergency pull-off.
He made a deal with the devil. That's Donna, and he got burnt.
But Donna's attorneys say that it's the prosecution that's guilty of an unholy alliance. They argue Donna is innocent, and Damien Bradford acted alone.
They were willing to make a deal with the devil, and Damien Bradford undoubtedly is the devil.
She'd protested her innocence from day one and had been pretty emotional about the fact that she did not do this.
I'm not sure why people have made that connection. I don't know why that just because she did have an affair with Damien Bradford, why the logical conclusion was that she had a role in his murder.
Anybody that knew Donna for any length of time knows that she was not, some evil Black Widow spider that was going to pull her mother into some scheme to have her husband killed. That's ludicrous.
Donna would never put her mother in harm's way like that. Never. It was unfathomable.
A psychological expert testifies Donna is easily manipulated by dominant men.
There's an individual who almost to a fault felt a need for her own self-worth to satisfy another individual. In school, she made sure that she became, for example, like a cheerleader because that's what she thought her father would want. Donna and Ghulam didn't want to have children because Ghulam was concerned that if Donna became pregnant, it would ruin her figure. She got a nose job at the age of 20 because Ghulam did not like something about her nose. And then it carried right on to Damien.
And Donna to Damien was like chum to a shark. I mean, this guy had 5 women going at the time. He was dealing drugs. He saw Donna with Tiffany and big diamonds and driving a Mercedes-Benz. Donna fell in love with Damien, and Damien fell in love with Donna's money.
I think that he saw dollar signs and became aware of what her travel plans were, and on his own decided that he was going to kill the doctor.
But text messages and tower tracking records give credibility to Damien's story.
Everything that he said was backed up by phone records, cell phone tower records, everything. It all matched up.
It seems much more likely to me that Damien and Donna were 2 peas in a pod in a way, where they both felt entitled enough to serve their interests through helping each other achieve the same goal, which was to eliminate Ghulam and free up a bunch of assets that the 2 of them could then share. In fact, I'm not even convinced that had that plan worked, Donna wouldn't have been Damien's very next victim.
Although I think it's possible that Damien was under Donna's spell, I would never say that someone could be manipulated into murder. Those were premeditative actions that he took upon himself on his own, with his own mind, with his own hands. I don't think anyone's manipulating anyone. I think this is a couple of addicts that came together because they want what they want out of a relationship. And in this case, they both benefited from Ghulam dying. They both thought they would be able to get money and go off and do whatever they wanted to with it.
The jury doesn't believe Donna is innocent. In July 2007, Donna is found guilty of murder for hire and sentenced to life in prison.
She has repeatedly told me in letters that she had absolutely no involvement in Ghulam's murder. No involvement at all.
Damien is sentenced to 17 and a half years for interstate stalking.
To me, I just see evil in his soul. You know, he's not a soul that's looking to the Lord. He's a soul that's working for the other side.
As bizarre as this is going to sound, Damien's not a horrible person. What he did is horrible. How he did it was horrible. And yes, he shot Dr. Munda in cold blood. But he would not have done so but for the efforts of Donna Munda and the selfishness and the manipulation and the hatred in that woman.
Dr. Munda was a very well-respected man in his community. It's a tragedy that he died, and we can only remember him well. I think we can be happy that justice was served. Is that enough? I don't know.
I want to remember him as a very, very good physician, very good surgeon, and one of my best friends, almost like my brother, and I really dearly miss him.
Yeah, it was awful. It's okay.